Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk, the series where we gotta go fast. Again, this is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today we're talking about the Blue Blur and his colorful friends. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the sequel to one of the few bright spots of 2020, Sonic the Hedgehog. The film picks up right before the end credits scene of the previous film, and we learn that Dr. Robotnik has been trying to figure out a way to leave the mushroom planet he was marooned on in the last film. He is saved by Knuckles, a member of the Echidna clan that is tasked with acquiring the Master Emerald from the Owls, of which Longclaw was a member. Through their mutual interest in defeating Sonic, Robotnik and Knuckles venture to Earth while Miles Tails' prowess shows up just in the nick of time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Paramount has done it again. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is very nearly as good as the original film, with some slight weaknesses that I'll discuss a little later. First, the good. Knuckles makes this movie. I loved every scene with him, and that's why he's the thumbnail of this video. Idris Elba nails the role, and his voice gives the character a gravitas that makes him all the more intimidating. His stoic and naive personality sets the stage for some pretty hilarious jokes, and the only real negative I can say about him is that I wish he were in the film more. That has something to do with one of the negatives of the film, but we're still on the good. Sonic is as good as he was in the first film. Ben Schwartz delivers yet another great performance as the titular character and delivers a bevy of pop culture references and zingers, my favorite of which was a Fast and Furious reference that killed my theater. You'll know it when you hear it. I also thought Tails was pretty good here too, if a little on the obviously appealing to children side. I love that they actually got Tails' actual voice actress from the games, which is something I've been campaigning for as a voice actor myself. I mean, they're getting Chris Pratt to voice Mario while Charles Martinet is still alive, but I digress. Another aspect of this film that I truly appreciate is the respect for the source material. This movie is a shining example of how to respect the source material while coming up with an original story. Knuckles' clan creates the Chaos Emeralds in this movie, whereas they guard them in the games. That's a great way of tying this property to the source material, especially because the games never give an actual origin for the jewels. Knuckles also makes mention of grapes, a very small but integral part of his character. It's things like these that endear you to this movie, especially if you're a fan of the material. Now on to things that I didn't care for. Jim Carrey. Now, that might come across as if I didn't like Jim Carrey's performance in this film, and that's not true. I actually love Jim as this character. The reason I'm including him in the negatives is because his performance is a symptom of a larger problem with this film, and that is the movie is way more over the top than the original film was. Unfortunately, this movie has delved into slapstick territory where the jokes are a little overzealous and overcooked. I really hate to say this, but it's similar to what has happened with Minions, where Despicable Me is this incredible piece of art, and basically everything after that is insufferable because of the over-the-top antics of the Minions. Rest assured, this movie is not quite on that level yet, but the gags are reaching that territory, and that is disappointing. I think the filmmakers looked at the success of the original film and thought the reason people took to it were the jokes, and while that is kinda true, the lesson they took from that was, okay, how can we make our jokes bigger and dumber as opposed to smarter and slicker? Another issue I had with the film was screen time for certain characters. There are two scenes in this movie that 100% should have been cut and basically serve little to no purpose to the plot. One is a dance-off scene, and the other involves a wedding in Hawaii. Both of those scenes, as if a middle finger to the character this movie is based on, slow the film to a screeching halt, and I found myself squirming in my seat with the wedding scene in particular. I thought both these scenes could have been cut or used to characterize Knuckles a little more, and were ultimately pointless fluff to get the runtime over 2 hours. It honestly felt like the filmmakers thought that since they had humans in the previous movie, they needed to give them more to do in this universe, but my contention is now we've got 3 anthropomorphized creatures in this series, you don't need to focus on the humans. This movie is very Godzilla 2014 in that respect. In the end, I had a great time with this movie, just like I did with the first. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails are all themselves from the source material, and if you know me, you know I value that a lot. The recent Resident Evil movie and upcoming Netflix series could learn a lot from these two films. Knuckles is the big standout character in this film, and I love not only his accurate design, but his hilarious personality. Jim Carrey is also good, as always, but the filmmakers wanted him to dial it up to 11, and he misheard that as 52. The film overall is over the top, and I think that's a misstep, but not as egregious as the pointless mid-2000s era romantic comedy schlock that is thrown into this movie for no reason at all. It's for these reasons I can't give the film a better grade than the first movie, but I will absolutely recommend it, especially over something like Morbius. B-.